the coaches, the backroom staff. I'm not sure I've seen a sixth Premier League game of the season ever celebrated bigger than that. That's how important that game was. And it was to do with their football that they penned Newcastle in. It was to do with their spirit. It was to do with their emotional control. And more than anything, they had to believe in it. And with seconds to go, they still believe they could get a win. That's massive for them.
Tim, at half-time, you thought they'd come back and win 2-1. But as the second half was evolving, did you keep the faith?
Well, they have shown me that they're willing to continue to drive the extra mile. I mean, not just going that way. Declan Rice, he's a 6 or a double 6. There are times in the game, and we saw it, where they're piling forward, and he's the one that says, I'll get it. I'll get in a foot race, and I'll track all the way back. So they do that as a group. And look, Mikel Merino, there's something about this guy. He's not really a striker. He's not a classy stroke it around the park midfielder. He just has a knack for getting in the right places, and he shows that every time that the manager puts him on the field.
To your point back, so about, you know, did we believe as the game's going? I think the most was like, I'm not an Arsenal player, I'm not an Arsenal fan. It doesn't really matter what we think. If that group in there, if they'll be in the dressing room now and they'll believe, and that will give them another reason to believe. And this was a big kind of what-if game for Arsenal. What if they don't get the job done? Are they really in a title race? They've shown that they're going to push and they're going to go as far as they can. Do
you think it could be a turning point for them, that today?
Yeah.
The way it happened as much as anything else, Tim?
I think so. I also think that as much as we're all probably on the outside, like, wanting this Arsenal team to go full throttle from the beginning of the game all the time, I just don't think that's who they are. That is who they are. Enough quality in the end and enough belief to have to grind out results when they need to and play well in other games. So I think they've always had that belief. I'm not sure if it's a turning point per se, but they're certainly have Liverpool in their sights.
A word for Newcastle United, who've had a couple of moments this season, tough ones. I can think about the one against Liverpool and then today. What do you think is not quite working for them to hold on to leads and to pick up more points, Robbie?
Well, today, a little bit of game management. As you say, if the goalkeeper hands onto the ball, you know, they get a point. They're still betting players in. Anthony Gordon, I think, disrupted things when he was suspended. Nick Woltemade has shown that he can get goals if they get service. So there's still parts for the Eddie Howe's team to come together. I think defensively they're pretty strong. I like the midfield three. But there's still work to do. And at home, when they get settled, they'll still be a threat.
I mean, it seems crazy and easy to say, but like what you just said, they're getting players back. Woltemade looks like he can get goals. Defensively, yes, they are sound like... They sit 15th. I think when we're here in May talking about Newcastle, they're up in 6th or 7th place.
Yeah, Newcastle United sitting, as you say, in 15th right now. Arsenal up to 2nd. Let's take you back to our commentary team, John Champion and Graham Lasso. Big exhalation. I'm sure the atmosphere exhaled as well when that winner went in. As you said, John, they started to leave very quickly. But Tim doesn't think it could be a turning point because we're just 6 games in, but it kind of has to be a little bit, certainly in belief, doesn't it, chaps?
Well, it can only help, can't it? I wonder, what did you make of that from Arsenal's perspective, Graham?
Well, I think the positives for Arsenal in terms of their ability to keep pushing, to keep the sort of the frustration levels that you could see were starting to show, to keep them in control. And in particular, I think the changes that he was able to make, he was able to change not just personnel, but the system around key players like Eze. Odegaard coming on added another dimension to that team. He got Lewis Skelly in down that side when he came on. So the adaptability of the team, given the situation, I think was remarkable. But they maintained the core, which was set pieces and intensity of keeping Newcastle on the back foot. And it felt like they wore them down in the end.
And if you're Newcastle, what are you doing on the way home tonight?
I mean, all of us players have been in that situation where you feel like you've earned the points and you come out, you know, with a defeat. So there's always a bit of soul searching. There's always a bit of, I suppose, talking amongst each other, what you could have done differently, what you could have done better. The guys have illustrated a couple of individual mistakes, but I think overall Arsenal, we discussed, deserved to win that game. I think Eddie Howe maybe changed the system a little bit into the 5 a little bit too early. But, you know, that's the decision he had to make.
And from Arsenal's point of view, at least one thing we can definitively say is that for once they have taken advantage of Liverpool slipping up.
They have, and what it does, it puts them, you know, it puts them in a really lovely position to be able to focus on the next run of games. It's a decent run of games they've got, but any team that's going to be up there come Christmas, they have to build blocks of points. So this game is only worth what it is today if they win the next 2-3 games and really get that momentum going.
Yeah, well, I hope, Rebecca, that you managed to enjoy the atmosphere at St James's Park. Even if the result didn't go Newcastle's way, it was terrific theatre and great sport, a really entertaining game and a gripping one right to the end. And we can hear from two of the main participants from an Arsenal perspective, Bukayo Saka and one of the goal scorers, Mikel Merino. They're down in the tunnel now with Patrick Davison.
Well, guys, some wins feel better than others. They just do. Bukayo, is that as good as it gets?
Nah, it's unbelievable, man. Late winners, nothing better in football, so speechless, man. I'm so happy.
So what were that sort of last 20 minutes like for you? Because obviously, you're coming back from injury, you're on the bench by that point.
Yeah, it's tough, you know, when you're on the bench and you can't control and affect the game, but, you know, when you have guys like this guy, you know, he's a big threat and obviously big Gabby as well.
A big sip of water there.
You know, like I was saying, you know, I have big trust in my teammates and, you know, we got the win today, so happy days.
Go on then, Mikel, give us an insight into your emotions, scoring and then obviously winning it late on.
Yeah, I mean, as Bukayo says, it's unbelievable to win these kind of games. Late winners are the best, but obviously from my perspective is even greater. Like, coming back here is always big for me, big memories, amazing plays in my life, but also being able to score and help the team coming on as a sub is incredible. And yeah, I mean, it couldn't be better to win in the last minute. And yeah, congrats to all the boys.
Yeah, do you know what? I forgot that for a second that you used to play here. Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes it more special, I guess.
Yeah, it is very special. Always coming here is great to see all faces, all friends. I've had amazing memories here. I've only been here for 1 year, but still is a big part of my life, of my career. And yeah, to come here and score a winner, I had that again in the same goal as I scored for Newcastle a couple of years ago. It's magical.
Bukayo, does it feel a bit like a curse has been broken today? Because even 1-0 down at half-time, it almost felt for a few years like it didn't matter what you did here. Somehow it just went their way.
Yeah, and obviously there's a few things we can speak about. For example, the penalty, you know, for me, like, if we have VAR, it's for clear and obvious error. And the fact that it took the ref that long to decide, you know, it shows it's not a clear and obvious error. But it's things like this, you know, these little things that always go against us. But I think today we got what we deserved, for sure. And yeah, that's why we're all so happy.
Yeah, I saw your face, actually, when the penalty was overturned. I mean, to be fair, he does get a little bit on it, the goalkeeper. But you were stunned, I think.
Speechless, man, but doesn't matter now, does it?
It doesn't matter now. Mikel, what does this do early in the season? It just feels like a bit of a swing weekend. Like, I think a lot of people, you know, guys like me, you go into the weekend, Arsenal could be 8 points back, you're 2.
Yeah, I mean, maybe more for the fans or for you guys than for us. We know the hard work we've been putting on, the kind of performances that we've been creating as well, and obviously winning the way we won today shows the character of the team, how much we trust each other, how confident we are, and that doesn't change, doesn't matter the result. So we're confident, we have an amazing team, an amazing squad, an amazing staff, obviously an amazing fans. So yeah, we're ready for it.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done,
Welcome back to Sport Lab. What a dramatic finish at St James Park. Arsenal left it late, but secured all 3 points with a stunning comeback, overturning Newcastle's lead thanks to goals from Mikel Merino and Gabriel Magalhaes deep into stoppage time. Newcastle went in front in the 34th minute when new signing Nick Woltemade latched on to a perfect pass from Sandro Tonali and coolly finished past Raya. The Magpies carried their 1-0 lead into half-time and looked solid for much of the second half. But Arsenal's persistence paid off. Declan Rice set up Mikel Merino for the equaliser in the 84th minute against his former club. Then, in the 96th minute, Captain Martin Odegaard floated in a pinpoint cross, and Gabriel Magalhaes rose highest to head home the winner, sparking wild celebrations in the away end. Newcastle, Eddie Howe's side looked disciplined and dangerous for much of the game. Woltemade's first-half strike showed his growing importance, but they couldn't hold on. Losing so late will sting, especially after a resilient defensive display. Arsenal, once again, Arsenal showed their never-say-die attitude under Mikel Arteta. Rice and Odegaard delivered in key moments, while Gabriel proved decisive at both ends. This comeback keeps the Gunners firmly in the title conversation. A heartbreaking defeat for Newcastle but a massive statement win for Arsenal, who fight until the final whistle. Can Arteta's men keep up this momentum in the title race? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Sport Lab for more Premier League drama.